watched last week's video on alliances, I am back today to talk about items. If you watched last week's video just before this video, you'll notice that I haven't changed my clothes, or my room looks exactly the same and my hair looks exactly the same. It's probably because I filmed both videos on the same day, but here we are. So we are talking about items today, and items are very essential to winning Dota Underlords or any game like this. So let's talk about them right now in Dota Underlords. Items. You need items to win, right? And each hero, which are the units in the game, can carry one item. So if you played games similar to this, if you played Dota Auto Chess, even if you played Teamfight Tactics, in those games you can combine items. Well, in this game you can't. So each item just is based on a tier, and you'll get a choice of items after you beat a certain creep round. So like creep round 1, round 2, round 3, and then round 10, and then every 5 rounds after that, you'll get a chance at getting an item, and each creep round you get a higher chance at higher tier items. You want to get up to the tier 5 items, but you'll first start off with the tier 1 items and the tier 1 global items. So you want to get these items first, get the good ones, put them on the right units, and just make your team as strong as possible. And then as the game goes on, switch them out and switch them between units, because in this game you can switch them between units, and just make the strongest team you possibly can. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about Blightstone. Blightstone target gets -3 armor, kind of like the Heartless bonus that I talked about last week. Good item, early game, works with bunch of units. Anybody that's doing physical attacks or physical damage, that basically physical attacks or physical damage, they're doing any of those two, you want this item, and you want this on those units so that they'll do more damage, because they'll have less armor on the person they're hitting. Remember this, items aren't necessarily just for the unit that's using the item. So if you're hitting a unit, if a unit is hitting a unit with a Blightstone, that unit that you're hitting with the Blightstone gets -3 armor. So any other unit that you have that is hitting that unit is doing more damage too, because that unit has already lost -3. It lost 3 armor. So it's not just for the primary unit that has it, but for the rest of your team. So put it on a unit that sticks around longer or does physical damage. Okay, so boost of speed. Kind of new to this game. Dota Auto Chess didn't have this because units kind of jumped around. So what it does is your units will move faster on the board. So if they're a really slow unit, they'll get across the board faster. Pretty useful in certain cases. I haven't found the best use for it yet, but it does that. That's what it does, and it's what it does right now. Brooch of the Martyr. Okay, so when you're taking damage, you'll get plus 50% mana. This is good for units that are a little bit healthier, that can take the hits and also need the mana. So like people like Terrorblade, who he needs mana to get into his ultimate phase. So he wants to get hit, and then he'll go ulti, he'll get his health back because he'll switch percentages with somebody, and that is good for him. It's good for any unit like that that can take the hits while getting the mana to get off their ulti. Chainmail, it's just plus 5 armor. Keeps units alive longer. If you get it, you put it on a unit, they'll take less damage from physical attacks. So just basically take less damage, they'll live longer. Claymore does more damage, plus 21 extra damage. Doing more damage kills a unit faster. Simple. Cloak, so plus 15% magic resistance. Really good against ulti heavy teams. Just good against ultis, because most ultis would be doing magic damage anyways. Good to put on a unit that dies quickly, or you want to survive longer, or tanks, or whatever. Um, yeah, good item. Not the greatest, but it's a good item. Embarrassment of Riches is our first global item we'll be talking about. So neutral rounds offer one additional item choice. It is pretty cool. So getting this early on is better than later. Basically what it happens is usually you get 3 choices after beating creeps, but if you have this you get 4. If you lose a creep round, usually you only get 1 choice, but if you lose a creep round with Embarrassment of Riches, you get 2 choices. So if you're on a team that is just losing, Embarrassment of Riches will give you a chance at giving a chance of another item. So you get a choice instead of just one item. So it's good. Pretty good early perk. Gloves of Haste, attack speed. You're going to do more damage because you're attacking faster. Simple as that. Just good for anybody who needs to attack faster. We already talked about this last week. This is a global item for Warlocks, and we're going to skip over the ones we talked about last week. So Strange Bedfellows, we're going to skip over. Stable Reactor, we're going to skip over. Vitality Booster. Vitality Booster is a pretty good item. It just gives you more health. So you put it on a tank or somebody that has really low health, like a Shadow Fiend, and they'll live longer, and that's it. Just has them on the board. They'll stay on the board longer. They'll do more damage. They'll be on the board longer. They live longer. Whatever. Easy. Now we're going to jump into Tier 2 items. Tier 2 items are quite better, so we're going to take a look at them. They do a little bit more. Agents of the Immortal is our first global Tier 2 item. And basically what it does is prevent your next loss of life, and it destroys this item. So this item's no more after it's used. But it will preserve your win streaks. So if you're on a big win streak, if you're early game, you're winning, and you're not buying or you're not putting more units in or you're not upgrading your units, you're eventually going to lose, right? Because your opponents are getting stronger. Having this item means that you'll not lose like then. So it's pretty good. I like it because if you're on a win streak and you put it in, you don't necessarily need to buy. If you have a really strong team, you just kind of go with the flow, add units as you can, upgrade as you can, don't hurt your economy. And then once you lose really badly, then you can say, oh, okay, I got to start like changing things up, get a better team. But you didn't lose your win streak, so now your team's better. You lost one round, but it didn't affect you. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good item. Age of Chivalry, we talked about. Arcane Boots. So when the equipped hero has greater than 50% mana, restore 25 mana to all allies when so away. It's a pretty good item. So for mages or any like ulti heavy teams, which is basically every team, this is a good item. But they need to be packed together. So either it's with melee units or ranged units, but they need it packed together because it only works on one cell away. Pretty good item to get your mana up. Mages, a lot of them are ranged, so it's pretty good for mages because they'll usually be packed together a little quite tight, quite like good, like nicely. Blade Mail. So Blade Mail reflects 30% of damage taken back to the attacker. Good item for tanks. So anybody that can stay alive long enough to take a lot of hits, Blade Mail is going to be a very good item for them. So I mean, even if you have a Doom or if you have just any tank, warriors especially, Brawnies, just good tanks. You put this on them, they're doing more damage to the opponent because the opponent is doing damage to themselves. It's pretty good. So Blade Mail, good item. Blink Dagger, fun item. So at the start of the battle, they'll teleport behind enemy lines to the enemy farthest away from an equipped hero. Kind of like assassins, kind of makes one unit kind of like an assassin. Really good for units that you want the ulti to go off near the opponents. So like techies, you want them to put the bomb near the opponents. That you have this, techies will blink there to the back line, drop a bomb near them. does more. I mean, it's going to hit more units. It's going to do more damage. Tidehunter, you want him to hit more units. Get back there. He's going to take a few hits. His mana goes up to 100%. Does his ulti, stuns a bunch of units. Just it's a good item for units that you need in the backline to do more to do something. So like Tidehunter and Tinker and Techies, or even say the backline is full of the strongest ulti units like Keeper of the Light, and they're not like packed together because your blinked unit can't get inside. They're packed together, but give it to like Anti-Mage, and Anti-Mage will be there taking away their mana, which means that they can't ulti, which is pretty good. Brute of the Aggressor, so plus 100% mana gain from attacks. Really good item for anybody that you don't want to take hits like the other Brutes of the Martyr. If they like this, the way they'll gain mana back, and they even gain more from doing hits. So Terrorblade is also a good one to have on. I mean, any of the mages, basically anybody that has a good ulti that you want to go off faster. Medusa, Tidehunter, any of them. Brutes of the Aggressor is pretty good. Crazy item, not necessary for everybody. So Hero Signs, that means his ulti is not going to go off because they can't use it, but they get plus 10% lifesteal and plus 40 attack speed. So you might be asking, then who is this for? If it's going to silence them, and ultis are so important in this game. Well, anybody with a passive ulti can still use this. So Anti-Mage, who takes mana away passively, he doesn't have like an ulti that he needs mana for. Basically, any of the units you see with no mana bar can use this. Troll Warlord's really good with it. Anti-Mage is really good with it. Luna's really good with it. Dro is really good with it. So there's a few units that this is very essential for. Makes them that much stronger. Phantom Assassin, also really good with it. Octarine Essence reduces ability cooldowns by 50%. Really simple. Reduces their cooldown so that they can ulti faster. Pretty simple. Silver Lightning. So if you're losing, you want this. You want to try to get this early. So when you're losing, you get 1 extra gold. So you at least are gaining economy. Good item if you're losing. Only if you're losing. Don't get it if you're winning, obviously. Smuggler. Quality of the items from neutral rounds are offered from 1 wave higher. Basically means you have a higher chance of getting better items. Like the 2nd or 3rd creep wave, you're just going to get higher chance at those tier 3s, tier 4s, and maybe even those tier 5s. So pretty good if you're looking for higher tier items. Summoning Stone, I talked about that last time. Tooth and Claw is for savages. Unstoppable, I think that's for warriors. Yeah, so we don't need to talk about that. A higher class, a criminal. Okay, so this is kind of like that smuggler item, but for units. So each level you are, 1 through 10, you have a chance at a certain type of unit, higher chance at a certain type of unit, up to legendaries. So if you're level 8, you have a certain percentage at getting legendaries, have a certain percentage of epics, and whatever. But this will make it act like if you're at level 8, it'll be kind of like you're level 9. So you have like the level 9 chance of getting certain units. So you'll have a higher chance of getting those legendaries or whatever. And this is pretty good for early and late game. Not especially early, because early you're trying to build a team, a bunch of 2-stars. And sometimes sometimes you don't want to get this too early because you want a higher chance at 1 and 2 stars. But if you're in late game, you're trying to get legendaries and stuff like that, or you're trying to get a certain chance at 3-star, 4 stars, this is pretty good because then you don't have to spend that gold to level up right away. So pretty good item. Check the bodies. I think that's another one we talked about. Dragon's Horde, elusive target. Is it Skady or Scotty? I'm gonna say Scotty. Eye of Scotty. Plus 400 health and slows enemies on attack. So pretty good for tanks, obviously. You're going to get more health, and if they're attacking, the tank is not going to die as fast because they're going to be really slow. Easy to think about, very simple item to understand. Final Flash, I think, okay, that's Pontifications for the summonings, for primordials. We talked about that last week. Hood of Defiance is another magic resist item. Pretty good, gives you 10 plus 10 health regen too, so plus 50% magic resist. Pretty good for units that are dying too quickly to mage, or I mean to magic damage. Good for tanks. Just all around good item for survival. So if you need it, if a unit's dying too fast and not doing enough, or you want a tank to live longer, good item. Mechanism. So when the equipped hero has less than 50% health, heal allies up to 3 cells away for 250 health. Pretty good because it's 3 cells away, it's not 1 cell. Pretty good for teams to stay on the board longer. So I mean, 1 of these, 2 of these. If you have nothing else as a choice, this is not a bad item. You're gonna have your board's gonna stick longer. It means you're gonna do more damage. Yeah, it's a simple item, but pretty good. You want to put it on a unit, preferably in the front or middle. That's gonna take damage. You don't want to put in the back line because everybody else is gonna be dead, and he's not gonna do anything then. So front or middle of your team, which would be pretty good. Tallied, I think scaled. Okay, Sacred Relic. Plus 60 attack damage. Easy. Put it on a unit that needs attack damage, physical damage, attack damage. I didn't talk about this before. Attack damage or taking damage gets you mana, right? So putting this on a unit that you want to ulti faster also gives them mana. So it's kind of like putting a brooch on somebody, because the brooches give you mana, right? This one, Brooch of the Aggressor, mana on attack. Give them more attack damage, they're going to do more damage, which means they get more mana, which is good for them to ulti. So any of the attack damage ones are good for everybody, because you want to ulti faster, which means putting a damaging item on them means they're going to ulti faster. Skull Basher, fun item. So 25 attack damage, like I said before, good for anybody. 25% chance to stun targets for 1.5 seconds, which is pretty cool because then that means they're going to be stunned. Anybody with high attack speed, like a Troll Warlord or a Bloodseeker, Slark, pretty good item, because then you could have somebody stunned forever, or just stun a lot of units, and it's just good. It's just good. Could disrupt an ulti to do something else. Pretty good. Vanguard, another tank item. 250 health, 50% chance to block 70 damage when attacked. Really good item. Put it on a tank. Let them take a lot of damage. Good intent. I think that's Heartless. So we're going to jump into tier 4 items. These are my favorite items. Tier 5 items are really good, but tier 4 items are where you're going to be usually seeing the most of. So tier 4 items. Battle Fury. Only works on melee units, but melee attacks cleave 30% damage to nearby units. So you're going to be doing damage to the units on the side of the unit you're attacking, which is pretty good for like units that are doing a lot of physical damage and are on the front line, or not even just up there whacking away. Melee units like Doom, Beastmaster, like all those units. Really good item. Black King Bar. Pretty good item for somebody that you need to survive. The equipped hero becomes magic immune for 7 seconds once the first enemy has 100% mana. So say you're fighting a mage team and you have a unit that, or you have a mage team as well, and their mage team just gets mana faster. you at least can get a unit that survives their onslaught. Uh, it's pretty good. It's good for tanks too. Just like they'll survive. They won't take any of that damage once that unit shoots off their ulti. Because once they get 100% mana, it means they're going to shoot off their ulti. And this means that they're not going to take damage. It's good for any unit you need to survive or tank. Easy. Daedalus. More attack damage. 30% chance to critical strike. So yes, it is good for any unit, but you want to put this on units that either attack faster or, I mean, like, just do a lot of damage. Because you want to get, that critical hit is essential for units that have damage. So, Phantom Assassin comes to mind because she has ready an ulti that does critical damage, and she has assassins that do critical damage, and then she's going to do more critical damage with Daedalus. It's just a good item for damaging units, but also on any other unit. Dagon, whatever you want to call it. It deals 800 damage to a random enemy unit that has 50% or less health. So, helps you kill off a unit faster. Pretty good item. Just put it on a unit that doesn't have anything, and they will shoot it off, and they'll do 800 damage. So, I mean, that's very simple. Just, I mean, not going to help the unit out, but it will help kill a unit faster. Maelstrom. 25% chance to attack, on attack to cast a chain lightning for 100 damage to 4 targets. I mean, decent item. You put it on any unit that attacks, especially with higher attack speed, because you want to be able to do this more than once. And you'll get like 100 damage to 4 targets. So high attack speed is usually what you want to put this on. And it's a good item. I'm probably going to say this is a good item for most of these items, because late game items are just... all the items are good items. Items do something for you, so they're good items. But, I mean, these tier 4s are especially good. Moonshard, plus 80 attack speed. Unfortunately, you can't put multiple items on one unit, but this is really good for anybody with high damage that is slow at attacking, or somebody with a lot of attack speed that you want to attack faster, like a Troll Warlord, or even somebody that has critical damage, like a Phantom Assassin. Put this on them, more chances to crit, better. So, pretty simple, plus 80 attack speed, really good. Radiance. I love this item on tanks. Okay? Basically, it burns enemies up to 2 cells away for 60 damage. Tanks are going to be in the front line, so they're going to be surrounded by more units. They're going to do more damage because they're going to live the longest around a lot of units. So this is really good for tanks because they'll maybe not be doing too much damage like a Treant Protector, but they'll be doing quite a bit of damage with a Radiance on them. My favorite item on tanks. One of my favorites. Fresh Orb. So refreshes all cooldowns and restores 50 mana after casting an ability. Good, but I mean, it's good. So you put this on like a Techies, and he'll put his ulti down. Boom, gets his recooldown, so he can put another ulti down. Has 50% mana back, and then 50 mana back. 50%. He just needs to get that other 50% back, and then he gets to put another bomb down. Usually he's taking hits, so he's taking hits. He's back at 50 mana, so he puts a bomb down right away anyways. So yeah, good item. It's good, but you don't want to put on a unit that takes a long, or it's gonna die before he can get that extra 50 mana back. I've done this on Enigma, just doesn't work really well. So you want to put on units like Techies, once you get a Techies on your team, usually you're playing Scrappies, he's going to survive for a long time, so he'll be able to get that second ulti off pretty quickly. 2 bombs down, a lot of damage. Or Tidehunter maybe, he'll maybe get to ulti twice, or a Medusa, she'll be doing damage while she ultis, so she'll maybe get to ulti twice. It's pretty good. Okay, so we're going to jump, I think, Vicious Intent. We talked about, each of your surviving units. Yeah, we already talked about this last time. Basically what it does is, if your team's on another board and you win on that board, or when your team's on another board and you win on that board, Each of the surviving units on that board does 1 extra damage, helps you kill your opponents faster. Okay, tier 5 items. The best items in the game, obviously. So Curus. Equipped heroes and adjacent allies have plus 15 attack speed and plus 10 armor. Adjacent enemies have negative attack speed and negative 10 armor. Just insane bonuses right there. You're stronger and you're faster, and they're slower and they're weaker. Put it on a tank, really good. Your tank usually has high damage but low attack speed, so you give them high attack speed and more armor, so they're staying alive longer while your opponent can't even attack anymore and is dying faster. Really good item. Bloodthorn. Really cool item. So you have plus 70 attack damage, and when an enemy hero has more than 75% mana, silence them for 5 seconds. Attacks against the silenced hero can't miss and crit for 140%. Pretty good item, especially against against teams with a lot of spells, and just a good item. So you're instantly going to silence somebody, and usually mages, really good against mages, really good against frontline ultis like Tidehunter, because Tidehunter will be in the front. He'll try to, if he gets his ulti off, if he gets his mana up to 75% first, he'll be silenced, and then you'll kill him before you can even ulti. Pretty good item, and usually you want to put it on a high attack unit, or I mean even a unit to get their ulti up faster. It's a pretty good item. Desperate Measures. I already talked about this last time. It's a comeback mechanic. Everybody gets 1% extra attack damage for every 5 points of damage your Underlord is taken. So it's usually, if you're lower down on the, if you're about to die, if you're like in 8th, 7th place or something, this is something to get your team stronger quickly and maybe come back from the game. No, come back into the game. Divine Rapier. 330 attack damage. Plus 330 attack damage. If Divine Rapier is in combat and you lose a round to another player, they get the Divine Rapier. So Divine Rapier is a cool item, but it's also a crappy item. Kind of only want it if you're desperate or you're really, really winning and you don't ever think your opponent can win. Because plus 330 attack damage is a lot of attack damage. If you have somebody in the back line, like Troll Warlord, put this on them. I mean, unless you want to really, like an ulti just to go off instantly. Which, I mean, yeah, okay. Give it to somebody that you want an ulti to go off instantly. Ulti. But, I mean, if you lose that round, you're giving them that item. So, Double-Edged Sword, really good item though. A lot of damage. A lot of damage is really good. But, take your risks. Expanded roster. So this is a pretty good gold item. So it lets you go beyond your unit cap of 10 units. You can have 11 units on the board. Good item. You have expanded roster, you get extra unit. Pretty good. So more units, more damage, more units, more damage to your opponent. Hardish Harask. Plus 1000 health. Regenerate 2% of max health every 1 second. Is it Tarask? So this is really good for a tank. They are going to live very, very long. They have a lot more health, and they're generating a lot of health back every second. Means that they're going to be on the board very long, and just good tank item. I'm sorry. Recruiter. The first reroll of each round is free, which is good if you're looking for a unit. And I mean, at any point, if you have a lot of gold and you don't have much gold, it's just good. Because if you're looking for a unit, you don't want to spend that 2 gold to look for it. I mean, if you have a chance to pick it, just pick it. Unless you're not looking for anything anymore, which, I mean, usually everybody's still looking for something. Shiva's Guard. Shiva's Guard, plus 10 armor, emits a freezing wave that deals 250 damage to enemies within 3 cells and slows their movements and attack speed for 4 seconds. Good item, good for tanks. Does damage and slows them down. So, what's not good about it? It's another good tank item. So, like Heart of Tarask, it's another good tank item. Probably the better tank item of the two. And, I mean, Assault Chorus is probably the best. I feel Assault Chorus is the best. So yeah, that's all the items in the game, guys, for, I mean, in the beta season at least. So, hope you guys really enjoyed that. Oh, one more thing. Global item stack, by the way. So, you can play multiple global items and get multiple perks from them. Just letting you guys know, very important last detail. Okay, thanks guys for watching. Catch you in the next one. Probably going to be on Teamfight Tactics. And hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks. Peace. Love you guys.